James, Museum Director of the National Motorcycle Museum here in Colin Wall's workshop. Colin's our Chief Restorer, and today we're going to be looking at a BSA M20, a WD BSA M20. And the reason for that is that we're working in conjunction with the new BSA company and a charity called the Veterans Living History Museum. The Veterans Living History Museum is run by ex-servicemen, and they're going to be taking this particular BSA M20 across France and across Holland and Belgium and on to Berlin. And this is to celebrate the life of a dispatch rider, 99 years old he is now, called Lewis Banham. And so this they called this charity run Operation Banham in his honour. And the purpose of Operation Banham, they're going to be doing it around the time of D-Day, and they're going to be retracing his steps through Europe just after D-Day. So they're going to be riding from the north of England down to the Channel ports, across to Gold Beach, one of the D-Day beaches, through Belgium, through Holland, and finally on to Berlin. And all this is to raise money for charity for veterans' mental health, because the Veterans Living History Museum is run by ex-servicemen, and they're doing this specifically not just to celebrate the life of Lewis Banham, one of the few dispatch riders that are left, but also, as I say, to raise money for a really good cause. And so we're really delighted to be working with the Veterans Living History Museum and BSA, the new BSA company, to get this bike nice and reliable, hopefully, to undertake this journey across Europe. So, Carl, we're here with this M20. It was sort of complete when it came, but nice patina, but it was a bit got a few issues, hadn't it? What we're doing with the back wheel?
Well, the back brake drum was locked up. When it was actually loose, the main fixing nut was loose. And
the wheel was moving about?
It was flopping about.
Yeah.
When I locked it up, it locked everything up, it just jammed up solid. So there's a bit of wear taking place on the actual brake drum, and it was fouling the drum was fouling the brake plate.
Yeah.
So I've had to take it apart and find some spaces and space the problem out, and now that appears to be okay.
So we've just spaced that wear out, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the back wheel was a bit loose when the guys from the Veterans Living History Museum got it off the van. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, that's one problem, that they're not going to have a loose wheel riding across France then.
Before we actually, when we first had it running, we found that the clutch was binding quite a lot, and also it was almost impossible to get first gear.
Wouldn't go in gear, yeah.
No, and that was because the clutch was out of line and the plates wasn't very good. So that's been sorted, that's been rebuilt.
The clutch has been rebuilt, yeah, yeah. And wasn't there something wrong with the primary chain, you said?
Oh yes, that was absolutely rigid. There was no oil in the case at all. And so anyway, the clutch was rebuilt and then set up, and that's okay now. And then the gearbox was checked, took the outer cover off the gearbox to find that there was no oil in. Just
no oil in that either, yeah.
A teaspoonful came out.
Yeah.
I don't think, because I don't think it's been run that much over the last few years, I think the oil had actually drained out over a period of time. But that appears to be perfectly okay. So
the gearboxes on these are pretty robust, aren't they? So yeah. If in doing the sorting the clutch out and doing the primary chain, you think it should be all right?
It should be now.
Yeah, I once did that with a Maxus. I once rebuilt when I was 15 when I didn't know any better, and it snapped it on the Isle of Man. So I soon learnt my lesson. But yeah.
Yes, well that wouldn't have lasted long, the way the condition it was in, but that should be okay now.
Yeah. Yeah. So working through the issues that you've come across, one of them was the next sort of big issue was the magneto and the dynamo, wasn't it?
Yes, they were in very poor condition. It's been on there for a long time, and the dynamo was absolutely rusted up solid inside. So they've been stripped and rebuilt, magneto and dynamo, so we shouldn't have any problems with that.
Rebuilt the mag yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
It had got to be done because with that age, the chance of it actually driving from here to Berlin would be very remote. So yes, it's in good working order now. Did
you have a half decent body then to replace that one?
I had to replace the actual body, both on the magneto and the dynamo. There's hardly any magnetism in a magneto.
Yeah.
And so the dynamo being congealed with rust, so it's still. I've kept it to look with its original sort of patina. We didn't want it to look rebuilt. So.
No, nothing too shiny. We've still got that 1940s sort of wartime patina, haven't we? Yeah, which we wanted to keep. And I know one thing: all the cables were really frayed and rough, weren't they? It looks like we've redone all the cables as well, haven't we?
All the cables have been replaced. Renewed.
Did you say? Brake-wise, I know we've got the problem with the back wheel, and we've gone through all the basics, including the brakes as well. Then.
Yeah, but brakes are still in pretty good condition. And in fact, when we rode it around the car park originally, I was very surprised at how good the front brake was.
How good it was, yeah. So this is the first of a few videos from our workshops. Obviously in Colin's workshop here today with the collies. You can't beat a collie, lovely collies, and. Obviously we've been talking about the Veterans Living History Museum and the bike that we're doing for them, and if you want to find out a little bit more about Operation Banham and maybe to contribute to a really worthy cause in support of our servicemen and women's mental health, go to VLHM, Veterans Living History Museum, vlhm.co.uk, and the collies are in support as well.